Hello, everybody. This is your captain speaking. Rafael Chacin, as known as El Capitán Rafucho, and welcome to the adventure. And right now, tomorrow, Saturday, I know it's for the boys because it's not only about the college football, baseball, basketball, everything. Because tomorrow on Saturday night, two titles is going to be on the line at the UFC 294, 295 on the Madison Square Garden on New York. And this is going to be like a really excited. And I'm not here alone because right now I have some special guests right now. You might know as part of the team of Against the Fence, one of the incredible YouTube channels to cover it up with mixed martial arts, with the watch parties, also with the news and analysis of all those fighters of the MMA who made an impact throughout the 2023 this year. So, please have a welcome to JK for the Against the Fence. How's it going?
What's good? Yeah, not too bad, Raphael. I'm not too bad. I tell you what, I was kind of enjoying the little interlude before we went live, to be honest. The music was getting me crunk. I was getting ready to splash out on the whiskey. I was so tempted, but I didn't have enough time, because it's Friday night. It's Friday night. We're here, and it's good to be here. And
Yeah,
thanks for having
exactly.
me.
Yeah, that's Friday night because right now I'm in the United States at the Eastern Coast. But there you go, folks. So right now, let's go for the first topic. Tom Aspinall versus Sergey Pavlovich. I know this is gonna be like a really excited for this one because it's gonna be like another fine piece of last minute matchmaking for the UFC. Because Aspinall, for me, he has a speed for the heavyweight that's something heavy hold. But for me, Pavlovich has some heavy hands, and there might be some bad news for Aspinall, who tends to limit himself with his chin exposed. And I think it's gonna be like a coin flip fight. And I know this is gonna be like a really excited, but this is gonna be like a really capture for anything. Aspinall leaves to the chin hanger for the end of every change, but Pavlovich has a burst of a crew power, even that can high guard can endure. But for me, Aspinall has been shooting for the hips and trying to work at Pavlovich under the ground, and Pavlovich has been prepared for this offensive wrestling by Jones Mayosik, and more important, after his loss to Auburn. But I know before that originally was scheduled between John Jones versus Steve Mayosic, but right now it's between John Aspinall versus Sage Pavlovich for that title. So I gotta tell you, give me about the thoughts about Tom Aspinall versus Sergio Pavlovich for that title.
I mean, you pretty much near enough summed it up, but yeah, I think it's going to be the hand speed of Pavlovich versus the foot speed of Aspinall. I think distance management is going to be very key in this fight. I think that Tom's going to have to really time Pavlovich's his entries and try and level change, duck underneath the shots, and get him down to the ground. The last person to take down Pavlovich was the last guy to beat him in Alistair Overeem, and that was his UFC debut. So, I think we were all expecting Curtis Blades to take Pavlovich down and give Pavlovich a real test, but for some reason in that fight, Blades felt that he could do enough on the feet. But as the longer he stood on the feet with Pavlovich, he soon later found out that Pavlovich's jab and his hand speed was a bit too much for him. I think he shot in for one takedown and failed, but that's because Pavlovich was kind of tagging him up and started to really light him up on the feet. In this fight, I think it's going to be very tentative for a little while. I think both guys are going to have a bit more respect. The fact that both guys are their average fight time in the UFC is, the shortest in any of their heavyweights. So I think that's the reason why, and I think it's going to come down to fine margins.
Yeah, because there are some like contest fight fans want to witness about the spectacle of John Jones and Steve Miocic, but Polish has leveled the fruit against opponents since coming up short for the debut, and Aspinall has reminded like his knee injury when he returned to beat Marcin Tura he in July, but he obviously had to go to the survivor Pavlovich to put it together, and Aspinall has been displayed to more well-rounded skill set, but I think it's gonna be like the win for the interim heavyweight belt. But this is like a fight where they're going back and forth. Aspinall seems destined to get the belt. He will knew that the moment will come, and if he can avoid Pavlovich's wrestling gun control, he definitely had the most impressive against Curtis Blaze. I mean, Espinal should be like to keep it the fight where he wants it. And I would say this. I think it's gonna be like a close game, but I think Thomas Pinot will have this belt into the after the contest decision.
Yeah, no, that's right. Yeah, there's going to be lots of conversations, winner or loser of this fight, because John Jones is the rightful champ. He's sort of said that he'd rather fight the heavyweight goat in Stipe, and Stipe, I think, would rather fight Jones and wait out for that. So, I think the interim champ's going to have to wait a little while for that fight to potentially play out. Because really, if it was a champion who's not John Jones was in the same position, the UFC would probably make them vacate. They did it with Yuri as a perfect example, and they did it with Jamal Hill as well, just to keep the division going. But that's not the case because John Jones is a big seller. But yeah, I think it's going to be a bit of a limbo for whoever the winner is.
Yeah, exactly. So after you had to the preview of Thomas Pinal versus Sergey Pavlovich. So right now, let's get to the move to the next topic right now. So here it is, Jiri Prochazka versus Alex Pereira. I know this is gonna be like the co-main event at the Madison Square Garden, but I think it's gonna be for the vacant light heavyweight championship. But it's no secret that both Prochazka and Pereira are capable to shutting the lights off. I mean, with Jerry as a dynamic striking and pressure could be like the key to stepping up for Pereira kickboxing equipment. And Prochazka had to go to brawls and it gonna be like a downfall, but I think it's gonna be a fine success into the box matching with Portland, which is like a TKO loss. But I gotta tell you something. Alex Pereira grappling style is undeniable. And I think Jerry Prochazka could be me careful about that because I know for every Brazilian that knows from jiu-jitsu, grappling, everything, because the energy that belongs to Alex Pereira is undeniable. Undeniable. But Jerry could be like very careful. He's gonna be playing with fire. I mean, it could have happened like inclusive the narrative with Pereira to avenge Gloria Teixeira lost to Prochazka. But I think Prochazka seems like the fighter who means the edge to prove his stand-up kills against the Brazilian. Even he show up with thugness against Teixeira, probably won't have this change much here. Is one difficult to call. But at the co-main event, it seems like they had to go to edge to seemingly more well-rounded fighter and take Prochazka. So I gotta tell you, take the opinion about the Gio Prochazka versus Alex Pereira. Do you think the Alex Pereira grappling style could make very uncomfortable to Gio Prochazka style of the octagon?
I mean, look, it's probably a style that's forever improving for him. It's not something that we've seen much of. However, we did see some of it in the last fight against Jan Blachowicz. And I think one takeaway we got from that fight was his defensive grappling, Jan Blachowicz was able to put him in some uncomfortable positions. He was trying to get the rear naked choke, but Pereira was doing the right things to avoid it and really defend it. But with Yuri, you can say what you want. Yeah, okay, he submitted Glover Teixeira, but let's face it was a Glover Teixeira who's a lot older. I still think, despite the fact that he was older, he's still a very good mixed martial artist all round. But I think that, both guys were going back and forth that whole fight, and it was, it just came down to whoever was the most tired in that fifth round. One thing for certain is I think Yuri. I'm not sure if Yuri's going to try and engage in any kind of grappling with Pereira. I think it might be mostly contested on the feet. One thing that we know is that I don't think Pereira is going to take Yuri down. So Yuri's energy would probably be best fit for 5 rounds against Pereira. We know he's kind of a bit wild. He's very sort of in and out, a bit flamboyant. Will often attempt flying knees, and yeah, they do those maneuvers do sap your energy a little bit. But I think I think personally, my prediction in this fight, I think Pereira's going to catch him in round one.
Yeah, that's right.
I think the
So
low kicks are going to get like build up. They're going to be the main thing to kind of shut Yuri down. I think it's going to get him towards the cage, unleash a couple of combination or so, and at least put his lights out.
yeah, that's exactly. All right, so we got the fight card right now. So we got the light heavyweight between Jiri Prochazka versus Alice Pereira. Also for the heavyweight, they got Sergio Pavlovich versus Thomas Pinol. For the women's strawweight, they had Mackenzie Dern versus Jessica Andrade. For the lightweight, Matt Furbola versus Benoit Saint Davis. For the weight, Diego Lopez versus Pat Sabatini. Now, what are those fights on the main card? Who you think is gonna be like the fight of the night, the most underrated one?
Oh, that's two questions in one there. I think the fight of the night is going to be Frivola Santini without a doubt, unless there's a quick finish in it. In terms of an underrated fight, Pat Sabatini versus Diego Lopez, I think people will actually sleep on because Pat Sabatini, he's got some good wrestling in him. Diego Lopez is very good in the scrambles. He's good fighting off of his back. So that one is an intriguing contest. I think Pat Sabatini is going to obviously initiate the wrestling, but can he avoid any grappling offense from Diego Lopez? On the feet, between the two, I think Diego Lopez is better than him on the feet. So if I'm Diego Lopez, I think he'd probably prefer to strike with Sabatini.
Yeah, because Lopez has used the ground game to effectively 12 submissions, and it's been like it has be enough to score like 12 submissions of the career. But I don't think they had to go to find a submission in Sabatini, but I mean, Sabatini still Lopez finish attempts to do enough of the good decision. But in my opinion, about for the fight between Diego Lopez versus Pat Sabatini, he looks like a suddenly like growing a bit of the fan favorite after only two fights at the UFC. But it's really easy to forget that Sabatini also has 4-0 at the promotion prior to his loss to Damon Jackson last year. Both men are coming off of submission wins that could against those entertaining scrambles on the ground. Even thought Sabatini has a grappling advantage over the most opponents after the submission that I'll get for the better things off for the feet. I mean, both fighters had to go for entertainment, but for Sabatini, he knows about wrestling the gas out. But Lopez, he's a stand-up artist, guessing for everything about the grappling style.
Yeah, Lopez has got good cardio as well. You know, he's able to at least maintain scrambles for the duration. We saw that in the Evelev fight, you know, and his UFC debut coming in short notice and gave Evelev his toughest fight, arguably. So, yeah, no, I'm kind of rooting for Lopez in this one, but at the same time, I wouldn't be surprised if Sabatini's able to grind out a decision.
Yeah, exactly. And I will say this because both they have an amazing good job right now, but I think this is gonna happen for grappling, also for the style. It came like at a very difficult, but right now let's see for another topic right now. So let's see what I got over here. All right, so after 2023 is gonna be like the fight between Colby Covington versus Leon Edwards. So right now at the beginning of 2024 it got stars with three UFC title matches. First, they got Sean Strickland versus Duetis Duplessis for that title. Also, they got Alexander Volkanovski versus Ilya Tupuria for that title. And of course, there's another one which is really interesting, folks. We got Sean O'Malley versus Marlon Vera, the Chito Vera for the Bantamweight Championship. Now, I know that Sean Miley has a very robbery against Marlon Vera because it unexpected because they purposely met at the UFC 252 in August 2020, which Vera had won at the first round TKO. But right now, Marlon Vera, it seems that they wants to the title for the Bantamweight Championship. And for the Sean Strickland, I mean, this is gonna be like this first title reign right now. I mean, you're gonna face against Jacobs to place. I mean, even though he's going for South Africa and he belongs to Steel Knox, and he was like he practicing kickboxing, which is a very plus. And for the other one, which is another one, which is Alexander Volkanovski versus Ilya Tuporia. And I know that Alexander Volkanovski, he wants to be like a double champion, but I think, in my opinion, right now, this is gonna be like a real exciting because before they dropped out of Charles Rivera versus Islam Makovich on Saudi Arabia back in October, they just put Alexander Volkanovski. But in some of the live streams that I just put in, then they have like they want to call it. But right now, it seems that the opportunity to see the Alexander Volkanovski as a double champ, it didn't work. But right now, I had to go to wait on 2024 to see it like at a shot against Ilya Tuporia. So give me your thoughts on the go. What's going to happen at the beginning of the year 2024 between Sean O'Malley versus Chito Vera, Alexander Volkanovski versus Ilya Tupuria, and Sean Strickland versus Dricus Duprice?
Yeah, I think you already know what I'm going to say, really. I did touch upon it in my news show earlier on in the week when I kind of gave my thoughts and predictions on these fights. Starting off with Sean O'Malley against Chito Vera. Obviously, Sean O'Malley wants to get that loss back, without a doubt. That's the reason why he was calling for this fight. It doesn't really make sense in terms of ranking wise. Marlon Vera, I'm pretty sure, is coming off of a loss. There's other names, people like Marab Philly, who deserve the crack, Corey Sanhagen that deserves the crack. But look, I think the UFC can kind of probably weigh heavily on Chito Vera's popularity in this one. And they're just kind of letting Sean do what he wants to do, really. Look, I'm going to watch it nonetheless. Of course, I'm going to do a live watch along. But I think Sean O'Malley will probably get this one done this time. And sad to say, it'll probably be a trilogy after that, which is going to hold up the bantamweight division, which is stacked enough as it is. As for Volkanovski versus Ilya Topuria, I think it's going to be Topuria's time. I think this fight might be a little bit too soon for Volkanovski. It's going to be around February time. Like you said, the Makhachev loss wasn't that long ago, and I think Topuria is destined to be the featherweight champ.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know about that because this is something like really important because right now at the first 3 months at the UFC, they have like defended the title because Sean Strickland just won against Israel Sendaya, and now Alexander Volkanovski and now Sean O'Malley. This is gonna be like a really excited to begin at the 2024 at the World of Mixed Martial Arts. And now I have a last topic before wrapping this out because right now the UFC is gonna have this 30th anniversary. Since 1993, they're going to celebrate 30 years at the first event that the UFC won. So I got to ask you a question. All right. So, what was the event that you really changed your life while you're watching the UFC? The first event that you really changed your life to become a fanatic of the mixed martial arts? The first event.
First full event, I think, was probably UFC 100. It wasn't the first fight that I watched. I think the first ever fight I watched it might have been Brock Lesnar against Frank Mir, the first one. But my first full event that kind of changed things was UFC 100. I just became a massive GSP fan after that. It was a stacked card. You obviously had Michael Bisping getting knocked out by Dan Henderson, which is unfortunate. You had a young John Jones on the prelims. Brock then on beat Frank Mir and settled the score with him. And yeah, just from then on, I just remember the hype of it really being its 100th card. And from then on, the rest is history.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because at the UFC 100 they have in Las Vegas, Nevada, because they had so many important fights between Brock Lesnar versus Frank Mir. Also, they got Thiago Alves versus George St. Pierre, Dan Henderson versus Michael Bisping, Paulo Thiago of John Fitch. Wow, this is like an
Cool, yeah.
amazing. And they had John Jones at the preliminary card, Tom Taylor, Matt Stanzik, but I was like really excited to be part of the World of the Mixed Martial Arts. I mean, this is something that I was getting involved about the mixed martial arts. But I think, if my opinion right now, I think the first the first event that I was watching at the whole world of the UFC. That was back in 2007. That was the UFC 74 between Rodney Couture, Gary Gonzaga. They have Patrick Cote, Kendra Groove, Debbie Hay, Frank Mir. I mean, this happened amazing because during the 2000 and 2010, the mainstream impact of the mixed martial arts, thanks for the Ultimate Fighter, which is the reality show that they put all the brand new generation of these combat sports, and then boom, over the 2000 2010, they became like a very important because not only just talking about for Randy Couture, George St. Pierre, but also they got a Chuck Liddell, the Iceman, and 2000 and 2010, which means like very important decades to the expansion of the UFC. And right now, UFC having its 30th anniversary, which is like at a long time. And I remember that I was on watching on VH tapes when I was a kid, and wow, that was something like really incredible. And I just watched it at the UFC one, which they have a combination between sambo, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, karate, all kinds of stuff. And wow, what a great time.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so many moons ago now, huh? Many moons
Yeah,
ago. Good times.
yeah, yeah, the time is a flight. But I just wanted to tell you thank you, JK, from Against the Fence to having also this special preview of the UFC 295. And of course, make sure to subscribe to Against the Fence because right now, tomorrow night, they're having a watch along about for all these fights right now for the Against the Fans. And I will tailor to this because every Saturday night, whether it comes to UFC fight night and all these stuff like now, I mean, man, what can I say about it? Those amazing fights, reactions, everything. So last thoughts, and of course, what people can see you on the social media before we wrap this out.
Yeah, I mean, you can find us. You can see me. I don't know if my tag's there. JK underscore ATF. That's my Twitter or now is X handle. And of course, you can find us on Against the Fence on YouTube. Yes, we got a live watch along, which will be going down for the main card tomorrow. So make sure you guys are there and you're hitting the subscribe button. You're hitting the notifications bell, and just be a part of the community. Get involved, and you can take the mickey out of us, you can laugh at us, you can engage with us, get your thoughts and opinions about that out there, because that's what it's all about.
Thank you very much. And of course, make sure to subscribe to Rafael Chacin as always,
Yes.
Capitan Rafucho. Also, my Twitter and Instagram, Capitan Rafucho. And of course, it's been like an amazing episode. And I will see you there tomorrow night with amazing fight night with the gentlemen. So it has been another episode of Let Them Speak by Rafael Chacin, El Capitan Rafucho. I will see you there next time. Peace
Yes.
out. There
See
you
you
go.
tomorrow.